It's DJ Envy. Now, shout out to Real Estate Heat TV. They got the hottest new real estate channel. Shout out to my man, real estate coach Anthony Legins.
Hey, and welcome to this episode of How to Buy the Hood. I am your host, real estate coach and mentor Anthony Legins, and I am super geeked and excited to have my main man Reggie Davidson here today. Man, in the house, man. This brother, man, he works so hard. He a hard man to catch up with, man. I done been knowing Reggie, man, for a few years. We've been doing business together and always dealt over the phone because he's up in Flint and I'm down in the Detroit area and I was in the Lansing area. So we never had a chance to connect in person until actually, well, it was this week, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, this past week. It was great. You know, I was out at his office building, his office center, and I got to check out his whole operation, man. It was fantastic, man. You know, I want to just tell you a little bit about this great man here. He is the president of Legal Research One. He is the owner of Flushing Professional Suites, and he is the managing paralegal of the Flint Intake Center for Napoli Skolnick.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They're doing big things out there in Flint. Man, go on and shout yourself out there, brother Reggie.
Yes. Thank you, man. I mean, you know, that was a great introduction, brother. You made me feel like I'm somebody special, which I know I am anyway. But yeah, we're doing the first work up here, and we operate under the concept that many hands make for light work. And so we're really excited because we're excited about what you're doing in terms of especially people of color being able to buy back the hood and put a stake in the ground. And so I'm just happy to be a part of the show, and let's get into it.
Hey, man. Tell us a little bit, you know, who you are, Reggie, and how did you get into real estate in the first place? Because you're on a whole nother level with it, man. You out here buying whole office buildings and things of that nature, brother. So how can a brother, man, you know, tell us a little bit about your background, man, and how you got to the level where you at today?
Well, you know, interestingly enough, man, I as a contract paralegal, I offer services to attorneys, document preparation services primarily, whether it's criminal law, corporate law, you know, basics, micro businesses primarily. So I do a lot of corporate formation, especially with the law office of attorney Harold Millhouse. We form businesses for people. And, you know, I was renting out of a building, and the gentleman that owned the building one day came and asked me to buy it. And I was like, man, I don't have no money. And he was like, no, you can go get some money. You was highly motivated because I was in the building renting a suite, and there was several other suites in there that was unoccupied. And I told them if they open up a universal conference room that people can sign up to use, then if they bought internet for the building and had that included in on it, they could attract more people that may be willing that just needed a suite, a small business, a micro business. We talking about 5 people or less. And so it worked, and I filled the building up for them. And I got a discount on my rent for everybody I helped get in there. And then I end up making sure the common areas and everything was clean. So there was a universal lobby that everybody could use, and there was a universal a conference room that everybody could use, and everybody had internet. So they wanted to be in this spot. And when he saw how I put that together, you know, he came and offered me the building one day, and I was upset. I'm like, man, why is you coming at me? I don't have no money. And he was like, oh, no, you can make it happen. And sure enough, I put it out in the atmosphere, and this one sister, because, you know, Flint got hit with the water crises, and, you know, Mr. Gore that owned the Pistons, he ended up putting up $1 million in the form of $10,000 grants for businesses. And I ended up hooking up with the chamber, and I helped 36 people get $10,000 grants. And so because
Impacting
of that,
lives.
you know, that opened up the door for a couple people were like, hey man, what can I kind of like invest in? And believe it or not, the man offered me a land contract. I wrote the land contract up, and I was able to get this building on land contract. And after a couple years of having the building, you know, I had to get my pay and weight up. My credit was shaky, and so I had to get my credit up. And I was able to do those things. And eventually I financed out the land contract, you know, was able to even get a little cash to close, to continue with the improvements. And now the building is 95% rented out and is owner occupied. And so we doing our thing.
Oh, yes, you are, man. Brother, you are a brilliant Black man. I just want to let you know, man, because see, it was your creativity, man, and your creative ideas that you not only came up with, you helped implement and took action upon, that opened up doors that you didn't even imagine for yourself. You didn't think that the office, you know, building that you were probably, you know, paying the rent in, that you were going to be the owner. You know what I'm saying? You got a wonderful operation, man. You got it going on, man. You got the 2 separate buildings there, man. It's popping, man. You know, I hear you out here. You know, you was telling me about that other, you know, we ain't going to put that out there, but
that's fine.
He out here making some other deals, you know, man, making moves, man. You know, it's real inspiring, man. And I didn't, you know, he did kind of tell me about that before, but I know that, you know, you guys need to hear stuff like that, because it's really about taking it from here. You know what I'm saying? Taking definite action upon it.
Action.
And quick action. I mean, don't sit there and hold it up either. You know what I mean?
Well, see, you
gotta jump on it.
A lot of times, just like a formula you and I were talking about that you used in terms of land contract, a lot of times we have ideals and we don't have resources. And one of the things I like about your show is you're allowing our ideals to be able to meet up with resources and come up creative ways for those two to meet, because that's generally the condition in our community: financing and resources and being positioned. And as you say all the time, we don't know the rules. So oftentimes, because we don't know the rules, we can't play the game. The traditional real estate route is a beautiful route, but I was blessed to be able to come in through an alternative route creatively, like you said. And we really need, as a wealth alternative, to consider real estate. And we sleep a lot of times on housing, you know, in our neighborhoods. Number one, we should buy the house. We should stop renting. Everybody should, if they can, purchase a home, buy into it, and make sure it has some equity, because now you have something you can leverage to continue to increase your wealth. Leverage. That's a key, leverage. And so, you know, segue from now renting out of the building, owner operator. So I'm still in the building using it, and I'm able to rent out. So the rent off the building itself is okay. But, you know, I'm able to, off the operation I run now, it allows me to generate a little more because I ain't worried about the expenses of the building. And so that's another way to increase your pay, as they would say in the street, get your bag up and things like that. And so then, as a contract paralegal, I wanted to parlay use of the building more. So this law firm that came in because of the water crisis, Napoli Skolnick, one day a brother out of Detroit, attorney John Simpson, he owns Savannah Blue, the restaurant downtown in Detroit on Town Square. Really nice spot. I met him up here with the actor Hill Harper. They was at a church pitching people to sign up for the lawsuit. And I asked him, I said, well, where's your office at in Flint? And they was like, we don't have an office in Flint. I said, well, how you signing up all these people in Flint for the water crisis lawsuit, and they don't have a place to come process their paperwork? Well, they gonna do it online. Well, brother, this is a poor and depressed town with a lot of seniors who are not computer literate in the sense that they're gonna be processing that level of paperwork online. So I had a few meetings with them. It turned into them hiring me as a paralegal to help process paperwork for their Flint clients, but because I had the building, the building came with me. They didn't really, initially, they weren't renting nothing from the building. They just had hired me. And because I had the building, that I had a place for people to come. And then that morphed into them being able to actually lease the building in addition to hiring me. And that went from me using a few suites to the end, as 2 freestanding buildings. One of the entire buildings now is the Napoli Skolnick Flint intake center.
Oh yeah, the building I came into.
That
I'm
you
sorry,
came in.
that's where I
And
met you.
I got nurses hired now. I have
temperature checks at the front door, everything.
Oh yeah, you got it. Yeah, you can't come through that door without no temperature check. COVID not allowed. So we've been able to parlay. You can parlay real estate once you obtain it, especially commercial real estate, into an owner operated where you can get the maximum use out of it. You want owner operated if possible. It's easier to finance owner operated operations, you know, and it's a unique building, let me say, because it's an all bill paid building for the tenants on the other side. They rent out suites and the utilities is included. They have access to, they have security codes and like to get in and out. They can come when they want to. So it's a beautiful thing, man. It's beautiful for micro businesses.
I seen you go in there and turn that furnace off in that one suite. I said, oh, the bills must be included.
Yes.
It's like, it's the furnace on in here. I was like, I didn't even hear nothing. I was like, oh, Reggie on it.
Yeah. Well, you know, you try and keep a industry range of 69 to 72 winter or summer, which allows for comfort, but don't kill you on the bill. So, you know, there are things we can do to creatively make a building work for us, you know.
No doubt. That's, man, you just laid it out, man. I mean, you know, anybody that's interested in learning how to get into that commercial, he just really told you, you know, it's really about that owner financing and using that leverage. I mean, and once you have control of the assets, see, the owner financing, or what we call the land contracts here in Michigan, is going to give you put you in a position to be able to leverage a high value asset, which is important. And then, you know, obviously your net worth increases by the value of the asset. So when you get control of it, so you can get control of the asset, even a home, you know what I'm saying? Little to no money, you know, best you can negotiate. But then now you have, almost $500,000, you know, building. I mean, and
right. With half of that potentially in equity. And so now the equity is the same as money, because if you have 30% or more in equity, 25% or more in equity, if a building's worth, you know, 100,000 and you have 25,000 of it in equity, or if it's worth 200,000 and you have 50,000 of it in equity, then what happens is you can use that equity. If you see another piece of property that you want to buy and you have a relationship with your credit union or your bank, then what you telling me is, all right, this building requires a $25,000-$30,000 down payment. I have about 5,000 in cash, but I want to get a seller second on my equity for the purpose of the down payment. And if you can buy the building for lower than what it appraises for, potentially 70% of its value or less, then what you're able to do is get some of the cash out of the equity to close to actually cover what you borrowed to buy the building. So you end up getting your equity back at the closing, and you get another building with some equity. Always buy an asset that leaves you equity, because equity is like cash, is value. So it don't matter that you have so, and then if you can buy a property, especially if it's commercial, that already have some tenants in it paying rent, if there's enough tenants in there to service the note, then it's not about you, it's about that asset. And you can say, oh yeah, by the way, X amount of dollars is coming in off this building already. I'm getting ready to buy it. Your note gonna be this amount. After we get through subtracting the bills off this building, it's still enough money to pay your note. Oh, really? Guess what? You're gonna get financed. So it's just a matter of you doing a little bit of homework and then doing what they call the simplest financial is an income statement. How much is coming in, how much is going out. You know, when you start doing that on everything, you look to purchase, see how much is coming in, how much would be going out. That'll give you an idea of if you should buy that or not, you know. So it's not as difficult as it seems. See, you got all those credentials. You a real estate broker, you a real estate agent, you know, you a builder. So we have to stay connected with guys like you because we have to be careful not to get caught up in the wholesale game and be making wrong moves that can either have us broke or in penitentiary.
You know, we were just talking about that, Reggie. I was just about to say, man, shout out to all my wholesalers out there doing your thing. I love you, you know, and this is just straight up, you know, you got to get educated. You know, you got to take the time to get educated on what you're doing because my brother Reggie, man, right here, he's a paralegal. He's done dealt with some dudes that didn't do the real estate the right way, you know, and they're facing some serious situations. So, you know, we really want to help you. We want you to get involved, but, you know, you got to take the education, you know what I'm saying, first.
Yes.
So, and then you can apply it to get money. You know, you don't want to just, you know, jump into something without knowing what you're really doing. You know, you're going to jump into the deep end of the pool without knowing how to swim. I mean, you know, that's not, you know, but at least have you a life jacket, and that life jacket is going to be either working with a mentor or, you know, getting some education the best way that you know how. But I recommend that you work with a mentor, man. We need more men like Brother Reggie over here, man. Tell them a little bit about more what you're doing with the citizens of Flint, man, and with the testing and all of that you got going on, man, because that's some very unique testing that you got going on, brother.
Yeah, so as the crow fly, once we got the intake center set up so Napoli Skolnick clients can have a place to come into to have their paperwork filled out, and then we get their paperwork packaged and sent up to New York for processing and final processing. What happened was, during this Flint water crisis, a lot of the doctors, quite frankly, in my opinion, dug a hole and stuck their head in the sand in terms of giving the residents of Flint the proper prognosis, on making a nexus or a connection between the ailments the residents are experiencing and what's actionable under color of law that they can get paid for. You look at a lot of people's medical records, you don't see no connection to the ailments that they're suffering from to the water crisis. And you know, our bodies are 3/4 fluid, 1/4 mass. And so water, especially bad water, can affect us in all kinds of ways. Even if you had high blood pressure, contaminated water could exacerbate or make worse the blood pressure you already have. So a lot of people's existing conditions were made worse. And I'm not a doctor, but one of the things was blood, and let me say this and I'll stop. If you get lead in your blood, 28 days after lead is in your blood, it starts to go out of your blood into your bones and into your organs. And so what happens is, you know, if you got contaminated in 2014 when the water crisis hit, and we was on Flint River water, April 25th, 2014 to October of 2016, and then we went back to the Great Lakes water, but it still was contamination occurring. These medical records don't reflect ailments. So the lawyers at Napoli Skolnick who did the 9/11 and they're you know, environmental attorneys, they went and found the experts, and one of the #1 bone lead experts in the country, Dr. Aaron Spake from Harvard, that one of the #1 pediatricians and one of the #1 neuropsychologists, Dr. Michael and Dr. Canfield from Cornell and Columbia, and they put together a bone lead test with a handheld scanner where we trained some nurses. I even got trained on administering this, and people could come in, there's no needles, no poking, no digging, and we can hold a handheld scanner up to their shin bone, look like a big Star Trek space gun and hold that thing and trigger up their shin bone for about 3 minutes, upload that data, and it can go back about 15, 20 years and tell us if any lead is in their system. 15, and of course, if any lead in their system, we're going to attribute it to the Flint River. So a lot of adults and children who otherwise wouldn't be able to meet the standards of getting money for a personal injury lawsuit now are able to meet standards because we're able to show and prove that they had lead in a system. And so a lot of our clients, thousands and thousands of our clients have been tested in this Flint office. And there's only 3 places, by the way, that you can have this test done in the United States. One is at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York. Another place is Purdue University. And the third place is at our Flushing Road, Flushing Professional Suite building in Flint, Michigan.
Man.
Yeah.
Man, that's incredible. I gotta give it to you, my brother, man. That's, we gotta help the people. You're talking about impacting the community. That's impacting the community. And, you know, I don't even think I told you, man, and a lot of people don't know, man, but I lived in Flint. And I graduated. I lived in Flint for about 3 years, and I graduated from Flint Central. Yeah,
oh, wow. All right.
Class of 1992. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So I do got love for Flint. You know what I'm saying? You know, I didn't stay up there, you know, but you know, after I got old enough, I was out. But yeah, man. But you know, I got love for Flint, man. I'm very concerned, man, for the people, man. So I'm so happy, man, that we got a brother. You know what I'm saying? That's looking out for, you know what I'm saying, each other. You know, that's what it's all about. You showing love, man. You showing love to us on this show today. We're gonna go on and wrap it up, man. We got the one and only Reggie Davidson, man. Go on and check him out. He's doing big things. I hope you learned something here today. And you know, stay tuned. We got more to come. This is How to Buy the Hood. Coach Anthony Legins, Reggie Davidson.
Yes.
We out.
We out.